Hey new bodies, back with episode number 22. I want to talk to you today about success. So we've talked a lot about goal setting and how to set yourself up to achieve those goals, both your long-term and your short-term, as we went through a number of the different 10 principles that we did in a whole series of podcasts. Today what I want to talk about is a way I want you to think about yourself, and that way is to set you up for success. So why am I wearing this medal? This is from a half marathon that I did, and it blows me away to even be able to say that I did a half marathon, because just a couple of years ago I wouldn't have started running. I genuinely really did not like running. I didn't see myself as a runner. I saw myself as someone who wasn't any good at it, didn't enjoy it, had a lot of pain with it, and I started to experiment a little bit with running after reading the book Born to Run by Christopher McDougall. Really took some inspiration from that. And I started to allow myself the notion of being able to run and just sort of build on that. And there was a point where I changed how I referred to myself. I referred to myself as a runner when someone asked me, what's your sport or what do you do? And, saying I hit machines in my basement, like an elliptical in my basement, that's not a sport. So I just happened to say, I'm a runner. I do a bunch of things, but I run. And it just sort of dawned on me as, wait a second, I am a runner. I do go out and run regularly, and it's okay to feel good about that and to sort of embrace it, right? So I saw myself as a runner. The moment I did that, I genuinely started to feel even more sort of empowered about my running. And I signed up for my first race at that point. And that just started this path that built and built and built, where, ultimately I ended up getting this thing. And I'm already signed up for another half marathon. And I've got my eyes on the Chicago Marathon, probably for 2015, not 2014, because I've got some injuries that I'm still working through, and I want to make sure I can train right for it. But the whole key here is, how do you see yourself? So I did a blog post on the idea of allowing yourself to call yourself an athlete. Even if you're not, a professional athlete, or you're not on some team, doesn't mean you can't be an athlete in your mind. If you see yourself that way, I guarantee you will feel more athletic, you will feel more driven, you will feel more energized when you go about your exercising. That mentality, that attitude will push you to perform better, to do more, to get more results. And if you haven't figured it out yet, success begets success. So if you're using your mentality to drive your performance, you're going to do better. If you're doing better, you're going to enrich that mentality and sort of embolden your feelings that you are an athlete and that you're successful and capable, which will make you more successful and have even better results, which will then feed into how you feel about it. And you can see where it's the sort of virtuous cycle of reinforcement that comes initially with just how you think about yourself. So look at the various things in your life. It doesn't just have to be exercise. It can be whether you're a kind person. Maybe you don't like the way you've treated some people in your life. Maybe you need to start thinking about yourself a little bit differently. If you frame yourself as a kind person, I promise you, you're going to start doing nicer things for and to people. If you frame yourself as successful at work, or you frame yourself as an expert in whatever subject matter is really crucial to you or interesting to you, you're going to notice how much better you do in that space, because you're naturally going to be driven towards it. You're going to feel better about that space, and you will do better, which will then trigger that virtuous cycle. So for me, it came with running, came with feeling like an athlete and embracing a whole number of sports, and that's also why I got into road cycling, and I saw myself, even with only a couple months of experience, actually doing pretty well. And that's what allowed me, I think, to excel when I did my Century ride, where I was in actually the lead of the pack, even though the longest I'd ever ridden before was just shy of 30 miles. So it's not that I'm some superhuman. I'm just a regular person, but I allowed myself to look at myself in a more successful way, and that really set me up to perform better. And I've got examples through all sorts of different parts of my life and the lives of those around me where I see them take something that matters to them, that they know that actually if they apply themselves they can do well. They frame themselves for success in that space, and it just happens. So, frame yourself for success. Success will be yours, and you'll end up enlightening your body.